today's video is all about how to develop and market a new product. This could be for a new business that you're wanting to start up, or you could be an existing business who doesn't really know how to create a new product. I'm going to try and make it as simple as possible. Of course, there will be plenty of other marketing models that you could apply to this situation. There are so many that I haven't been able to apply them all. I wouldn't have time to talk about them all in today's video, but I've picked out a handful of ones that I think would be very useful and put them in an order that kind of works and is quite linear, so you should be able to follow that. So the models that I will be covering today are the PESTLE model for environmental analysis, the 7 Ps of the marketing mix, STP for segmenting your audiences, choosing who to target and then how to position, SOSTAC for a structure of a marketing plan, actual product development process. I will look at the pricing quality strategy model, which will help you determine what price range your product could sit in. I'll look at push and pull strategies, so how we actually get that product out to people. I will look at the diffusion of innovation model to help you understand how your product might be received by different types of audiences. And we'll touch on the product life cycle so that we can look at, where the product might enter the market, how long it might spend in different stages and where it might exit the market. And then at the end we'll also look at some measuring success. Before you do any planning, anything to do with coming up with a new product, you really need to understand the environment that you would be putting this product into, because of course the environment has a massive impact on what is needed at the time, how well it's likely to be received. If a country, the country that you would want to put a product out into is currently facing economic problems, then they're much less likely to want to buy a luxury product. So the P in PESTLE stands for political. Political considerations, what's going on with the government, are there any new laws that might restrict what your product wants to do or what you're trying to sell. The E stands for economical, so how well is the country doing, do people have disposable income. The S stands for social, the T stands for technological, the L stands for legal, and the E stands for environmental. The environmental side of things is very, very big nowadays. It's a big, massive concern for a lot of people when it comes to new products that are coming into the market. So what I would say is, if you can make your product environmentally friendly and incorporate that into the marketing, then I think, that's always something that will do well at the moment. So once you've done your environmental analysis, you can go on to the 7 Ps of the marketing mix. Now, it's called the marketing mix because all of the 7 Ps are designed to be used together to complement each other. So the first P is product. So this refers to the quality, the branding, the images you use, the availability of the product, the warranty you might get, as well as the actual product itself, whatever that may be. Now, it could be a service as well, but for the sake of this video, we're just going to be referring to everything as products. So the second P is price. So do you have any discounts? What are the payment methods available? Do you have MasterCard, Visa? Do you accept credit cards? That kind of thing. The third P is place. So this refers to purchase channels, sales support, maybe even physical shops if you have that, anywhere that your products can be bought. The fourth P stands for promotion, so this is PR, branding, digital marketing, direct marketing, any communications that your brand has to promote the channels. It could be emails, it could be billboards, anything that you use for promotion. The next P is people, so this refers to your recruitment processes, your culture, your image, any training that your staff get, customer service representatives, so any people associated with your business. The next P comes down to process. So for example, design features, research and development. Is it easy to purchase? And are you customer focused? So is the process there that helps to make the process of buying as smooth as possible? And then physical evidence. So this is anything that your customer sees or receives as part of this product purchase. So that could be the packaging, the purchase experience, any contact that they have with staff within the organisation, as well as the physical product itself. So as you can kind of see, some of the elements overlap. That's completely normal. You know, some might fall into multiple categories, but the point of this model really is just to try and get you to consider all of these elements so that you've got a well-rounded view of, you know, what your product is, where it's going to sit, and make sure that everything associated with it is thought of and accounted for. So then the next model that I'm going to talk about is the STP model, which can help you position your product. So the first part of this is segmentation. So by this point I would hope that you would have an audience in mind for who you would want to target. Now you'll probably have done some audience research, some competitor research, looking at who competitors target and that kind of thing. But if you do have an audience in mind, what you can then do is segment it, which basically means breaking down that audience into distinct groups or segments, as they're referred to as. So you can use this, you can do this using something called demographics. So that could be age, location, job type, anything like that, and you can use that to break down your audience into smaller segments. So for example, I could take my audience of mums, that could be my overall audience, and I could segment that audience down into mums aged 16 to 26, mums aged 27 to 46, and mums aged 47 to 66. So I could do it like that. They would be segments. So then what you do is you look at your segments and you pick the most attractive one or two perhaps that you're going to focus all of your marketing attention on because you think that those segments are going to do the best. And then you position. So you then look at how you can best reach those particular segments, what marketing channels you would need to use to basically show off your product and convince those very distinct audiences why your product would be great for them, why they should purchase it. So the next structure is the actual planning structure itself. Now there are multiple different planning structures that you can use. My favourite one is the SOSTAC structure by P.R. Smith. It's quite often used in digital marketing planning, but it does apply to just general marketing planning as well. I like this model because it considers all of the elements without overcomplicating it. So the S of SOSTAC stands for situation. So where are you now? Do you already have a product in mind? Do you already have a company that has several other products? Do you already have a client base, or are you starting from scratch? So it's really important to understand where you currently are. The O stands for objectives. So what do you want to achieve? It's worth noting that all objectives should be SMART. I know that's something probably not heard since primary school, but it really helps to have objectives that are specific and measurable. The next S stands for strategy. Strategy is sort of an overview of how you will get your customers to buy, like an overarching plan. And then the T stands for tactics, which is the smaller parts of the plan. So how exactly will you get them to buy? Is this through email marketing, social media paid ads, that kind of thing? So how exactly will you do it? The small activities that feed into your strategy. The A stands for action, so that's actually going out and, you know, doing those activities, knowing exactly what you're going to do when and putting it into practice. And then controls is evaluation. So that's sort of like, you know, did this work well? What could we do better next time? Are there any metrics that we can look at so that we've got data to carry forward through each marketing campaign that we do, so we can see whether we're improving, that kind of thing. And an advantage of it is that it can easily be integrated with other planning models, for example the race planning model, and also a SWOT analysis if you want to use that as well. So there are plenty of different models that you can link it in with, the segmentation, targeting and positioning, as I spoke about earlier, and also a sales funnel. So once you've got your plan in place as to what you actually want to do, then you can look at the actual product development stages. So the first stage is ideas generation, which is when your basic product idea is created. So sometimes that might already you might already have that. The next thing is idea screening. So you look at costs, you look at potential profits, potential sales, and you calculate different price points and you weigh up different options. Just see how people really respond to this product idea. Do they think that they would need this product? you know, how much would they be willing to buy it for, that kind of thing. So the next stage is feature specification. So it's, you know, a time when you can really sit down and define what the features of your product will be, and also establish the price point. So you can sort of really justify how much it's going to cost and exactly why. What are people getting for their money? The next stage is development. So then you actually finalise the offering. What is the product? The next stage is testing. So you will test that final product, often internally within your company and then externally as well. You might hold focus groups, you might get feedback from external people, which you could then use to tweak your product, or you could use it to confirm that, you know, the product is correct. And then the launch is making it available to customers, and then there's the evaluation. So looking at if the product is delivering value to customers and is it meeting your business objectives. So a model that you can use to help you determine your pricing is Kotler's pricing model. So it's basically a simple matrix format that you can look down one side of how you would rate the quality of your product, and then it looks at the different pricing strategies at the top, so low price, medium price, higher price, and then it helps you determine where you'd like your product to sit. So for example, a high quality and high priced product is classed as a premium product, whereas on the flip side, a low quality, low price product is classed as an economy product. However, there are different combinations of this. So a low quality product that is medium priced is classed as false economy. So it's just about deciding where you want to sit, which category you want to sit in. Obviously you won't want to sit in rip-off, but there are plenty of other categories to choose from. So the most popular ones are your premium, your economy, and obviously just your standard product, which most people would expect. So once you've formulated your plan, decided on your pricing, you've got your product ready to go, you then want to think about a distribution strategy. So there are two main distribution strategies, and that's push strategy and pull. So in a push strategy, it's a proactive encouragement of trying to get customers to buy. So quite often you'll focus on the product's features, and this strategy is mostly used for new products, technology, improved products, or old products that you're trying to move into a new market. So push strategies focus on the product and its features. They work well for products that are valued for their characteristics, and it ensures that customers are aware of the product and why it's a good option. They're often used for business-to-business sales, for example something that you might sell to a supermarket for them to sell on. But for people to be interested in a product that's going through a push distribution strategy, they must first know what the product is and what it offers. The more valued a product is for its features, the more effective that a push strategy will be. So a pro of this push strategy is that it's easy to develop and results can be seen in a very short period of time. So you're just basically stacking up all of the reasons why someone should buy, all of the good features, and pushing that out to people to try and convince them. But the con of this is that it doesn't create customer loyalty, and the message has to be repeated frequently, otherwise people just forget. And then the opposite of this is a pull strategy, which is more of a passive strategy, and it attracts customers by making your product seem desirable. So it focuses on aspirational desires. It's used for common, simple or well-known products, or for strong brands that are in saturated markets. So it focuses on values and desires. You know, is this something people would like to be, or something people would like to achieve? So for example, Apple products. Apple products are a great example of a pull strategy. They create this aspirational feel around the product. It's kind of the experience of going into the shop and you have a good buying experience. The look of the product is very sleek. That community you get when you see other people that have got Apple products. And that all links back to the marketing mix. They are all elements of the marketing mix, if you remember what I talked about earlier. You attract your customers with values. You give your brand or your product its own kind of personality and feel. And these pull strategies rely heavily on storytelling. So it's creating that narrative around the product and why people want to buy into that narrative, why people want to buy into that aspirational lifestyle. It's something that you see often with expensive cars as well. You know, people are buying into that lifestyle, they're buying into the idea that people will like them more if you have that product. They're cooler if they have that product. So, you know, this kind of strategy creates a lot of customer loyalty. People, once they're kind of enthralled with your pull strategy for distribution, they're pulled in for life. They're going to recommend that to their family and friends. They're going to keep coming back time and time again. But a con of this is it can be very, very difficult to create a message that appeals to customers and attracts customers. And so it requires a lot of money going into your marketing, a lot of research, a very strong marketing team. And the results don't happen overnight. The results will take a long time to build and grow. So it's definitely an investment for the future in creating a pull strategy. So I would say overall is, push strategies are easier to develop, they sell quicker, but you have to keep repeating them. There is no loyalty. Whereas with a pull strategy, it takes a long time to develop. It's more about the emotional side of things than the technical side of things, I would say. And but once you've done that, you've got some loyalty there. There is something between your product and your customer that keeps pulling them back together. So linking onto this, once you have established which distribution strategy you'd like to go for, you can then consider the diffusion of innovation and how people might receive your product. So the diffusion of innovation, it links to understanding the process of people adopting a new product. So the first group are the innovators. These people are, outgoing, they want to be the first to try new things, and these people are going to be the ones that are most likely to try your product. They're always looking for a better way of doing things and a new way, and they're willing to accept that. They usually have a lot of disposable income and an open mind, and they actively enjoy seeking out, new products to test and try. So these people will generally be the people who buy from you first, who are willing to try your product first. The second group is the early adopters. So these people are very comfortable with change and they're happy to adopt new ideas, but they're not on the ball. They're not looking for, what comes next, what can I try next? But they're very happy to adopt that if it comes their way. The next group is the earlier majority, who will adopt inventions early on, but only after that they've seen proof that these inventions work or are worth the money. So they might see family and friends who might be early adopters or innovators who've got these products, and they see that they work, and they see that they consider them good value for money, and then they're happy to adopt them too. The next group is the late majority. So these people are sceptical of change and will only adopt new products when they've generally been adopted by everyone else. So mobile phones, there are some people who, waited until most other people had a mobile phone and then they bought one. Those groups would be in the late majority. And then there's the laggards. So these are traditional and conservative individuals who only adopt new products when they're forced to. So for example, when the analogue TV signal was switched off in 2012, there were a lot of laggards who were then forced towards digital, even though many people had been using it for years and years. So it's understanding how your product will diffuse through those audiences, which brings me nicely onto understanding the product life cycle. So the product life cycle takes a look at where your product will enter, where it will peak and where it will exit, and there are various strategies you can use throughout the process of that life cycle to extend or prolong or change the direction of your product. So the first stage is the introduction stage. There are low stakes but high cost per customer. There are often lots of financial losses for the business at that point in time, but the majority of the customers you're going to get are innovative and up for trying it. So the next stage is the growth stage. So that's when your sales start to increase, the cost per customer falls and profits begin to rise. You'll start to see an increasing number of customers taking on the product. Then there's the maturity stage, so sales peak, the cost per customer becomes the lowest, your profits will be quite high, you'll have a mass market and a stable number of competitors, so there won't be too many people entering the industry and there won't be too many people leaving the industry either. And then the final stage is the decline stage. So you'll start to see falling sales, falling profits, your customer base will start to contract and the number of competitors will fall as they start to leave the market. So now would be a good time to start developing a new product that can take the place of the existing product. Not all products follow this life cycle. Some get to the introduction stage and never take off. Some begin to grow and then fall, and some may never reach the decline. Some may just stay in the maturity stage for a long time. They might become a staple in people's everyday lives and just never start to decline. The product life cycle is not a one-size-fits-all life cycle, but it's good to have an understanding of the different stages and where your product might get to, and then also what you can do at those different stages to try and prolong life or make sure that you continue to have a profitable product. And then after all of that, you can measure your success using metrics to figure out what has gone well with your product, what could you do better next time, and just overall evaluate the whole process. So a good way to do this is using KPIs, which are key performance indicators. And they're a measured value that shows how well a business is achieving its objectives. So good KPIs to measure include sales revenue, gross margin, return on investment, and you can also look at things like social media engagement, web page views, number of orders, and that kind of thing. And those numbers are quantitative measures that you can track over time, you can see how you're growing, and they're objective. So, it's not based on opinion, they are fact. They are a good way of looking at how well your product is succeeding, how well your business is succeeding, or if it's not doing too well either. So I hope this video has been useful. If you've got any questions, make sure to leave a comment and I'll get back to you about them. As I mentioned at the start of the video, there are plenty of other models that you can use as well, if you don't like the ones that I've used today. I would strongly suggest you go away and do your own research into these models because they go far deeper than I've talked about. Today has just been an overarching view of a potential process for developing and marketing a new product. But I hope you've liked it, and there will be some more videos coming soon, so don't forget to check those out.